So good day again, class. So we will be tackling now the part 3 of your pertinent laws to the practice of medtech as to your P2. So the next law that we will be discussing is your RA 7170 or the Organ Donation Act of 1991. So as to this, your RA 7170, also known as the Organ Donation Act of 1991, is a law in the Philippines aimed to promote no, organ donation and transplantation to save lives and improve the quality of life for patients with organ failure. And this was enacted way back in January 7, 1992. This law provides a legal framework for donation, retrieval, and even transplantation of human organs and tissue. Okay, so we do have 19 sections as to this law, and okay, this is for the provision, responsibilities, guidelines for organ donation and transplantation. This was authored by Senator Juan Flavier, which is a renowned health advocate and a former Secretary of Health. So this again was approved January 7, 1992. It was signed by former President Corazon C. Aquino, and Congress was the 8th Congress who approves this law. So basically, this provides instructions on how a person will donate or disencourage the public to donate their organs. So what are the objectives of this law? So it promotes organ donation wherein they encourage voluntary organ donation to address the shortage of organ for transplantation. So in the Philippines, usually ang tinatransplant. So the specialty hospitals such as heart center, okay, heart for the heart center, lung for the lung center, kidney for the kidney center. So yun yung usual na tinatransplant natin na organ here in the Philippines. Also the eye, okay, in the cornea, okay. Then how the regulation of the organ transplantation. So 7170 provides guideline for the ethical and legal retrieval and transplantation of your human organ tissue. Pwede ba basta-basta mag-donate ng organ? Hindi. Meron pa rin tayong laws na pwedeng na kailangan sundin in order for us to donate organ, okay, and to provide or to acquire organ. So it protects the donor and the recipient. So the law ensures the right and welfare of both organ donors and recipients are protected. Kaya nga bawal yung organ for sale, no? Yung binebenta yung katawan. Kaya it has a meticulous investigation before a person can donate an organ. Okay, so definition of terms under RA 7170. The law provides clear definition of key and terms. So, konti lang din yung kinuha ko. So, what are the terms? So, again, organ donation. So, this is an act of giving one's organ or tissue for transplantation to another person. So, you are giving, okay, voluntarily your organ in order for it to be transplanted or transferred to another human being. Okay. And then you have your organ transplantation, the process of surgically transferring an organ or tissue from a donor to a recipient. So, yung transplantation is the process. Next, a living donor. So, a living donor is a person who donates, okay, an organ or tissue while, okay, she is still or he is still alive. So, for example, ako, gusto ko mag-donate ng organ sa asawa ko, ganon. Okay, o kaya naman sa kapamilya ko, pwede yon. Still, after the organ donation, I will be still alive. For example, ano yung mga organ na yon? Liver, partial liver lang, hindi buo. Okay? Kidney, one kidney lang, hindi dalawa. Okay, ano pa? Cornea of the eye. Okay? Ano pang other na pwedeng donate? Yun, yung mga ganong sample na hindi ka mamamatay. Pag deceased donor naman, a person who donates organs or tissue after death. So, ito yung mga coma na, okay, into coma, pwede nilang i-donate na yung heart and other organs that is vital into the life support, such as lungs and heart. Then organ procurement organization, or the OPO, an organization authorized to facilitate the retrieval and distribution of organ um, for transplantation. This is just like UNOS of the US. So ano, sila yung nagpa-provide kung sino yung makakakuha ng organ, if ever. Okay, sino yung nasa waiting list at kailan sila possible pwedeng makakuha. Next. Okay, so next is your brain death. This is the irreversible cessation of all brain function as term determined by medical standards. So this is also known as your clinically dead patient. So clinically dead, pag clinically dead na sinabi natin, they just lost all their function, such as specifically the brain function. Hindi na sila kaya makarespond to anything. So, that's his brain dead or clinically dead. Okay? Pag biological death naman, that is the one, yung heart mo naman ang nag-stop due to possible natural cause or any traumatic incident na, for example, nasaksak, ganun, nag-stop yung heart mo due to massive blood loss. So, mga yun. That is called as your biological death. So, pagka clinically dead, okay, they need, okay, or coma patient or brain dead, they need a signature of two physicians na certifying that this person doesn't have any more brain function and will not come back into life. So, dun pa lang pwedeng mag-proceed sa organ donation. This is the so next is the key provisions of your RA 7170. Okay. So, okay. So, okay. So, voluntary organ donation. So, the law emphasizes that organ donation must be voluntary and free from coercion. Okay, voluntary and free of course from coercion. Ano ba yung coercion? Ito yung pinipilit. For example, okay, may kapatid ka nangangailangan ng kidney transplant. Match naman kayo. Sabi ng magulang mo, hindi kita bibigyan ng mana kasi ayaw mo mag-donate sa kapatid mo o bibigay ko lang yung mana mo pagka magdo-donate ka sa kapatid mo. Okay, so that's coercion. O kaya naman, may utang kang malaki sa amin. Ang pambabayad mo na lang ay yung kidney mo. O kaya naman, you are forced to do it. No? Tinutukan ka ng papatayin ko yung mga ganito-ganyan mo. Mga ganun. So that's coercion. So you need a written consent from the donor or their legal guardian. So paano yan? Ano yung written consent na yon? So pumirma sila na nagdo-donate sila, i-donate nila unless they are brain dead or they doesn't have any capacity to signify or put signature into some documents or have it written. For example, ano yung pwedeng gawin? Pwedeng verbal kung kaya. No, like for example, nasa deathbed na yung pasyente. Okay? Mamamatay na siya. Sinabi niya sa doktor o kaya sa nurse, "Nurse, doc, pagka mamamatay na po ako, idodonate ko na lang po yung organ." Pwede ba yun? Walang consent form? Yes. Pwede siya. Basta merong witness na sinabi mo yung organ donation. Pwede din naman sa will or sa testament. Okay, sa will and testament. Okay, ano yung sasabihin? Okay, pag mamamatay na ako, idodonate ko lahat ng organ ko sa mga nangangailangan. O kaya idodonate ko yung katawan ko for medical purposes or medical research. Yeah, pwede yung ganun. O kaya, paano kung ayaw mo na? Nasa deathbed ka na, nakapirma ka na ng will, ayaw mo nang i-donate, pwede mo naman bawiin. Still same, kailangan to witness na babawiin mo yung organ donation mo. Okay, pag wala, the legal guardian. So, for example, yan. Kaya pumipirma tayo ng, do you call this? The DNR, the Do Not Resuscitate. O kaya naman, the organ donation form sa ospital pagka idodonate mo yung mga organ ng mamamatay mo ng kamag-anak. Especially if you are the legal guardian. Okay, so for example, sa magulang, okay, yung anak yung legal na pupirma ng ganun. Okay, kailangan mahanap nila. Okay, establishment of your organ procurement organization. So they are the one mandated that um, and facilitates the retrieval, preservation, and even distribution of organs. So sila yung namamahala kung sino yung makakuha ng organ. Okay, prohibition of organ trading. So it prohibits the buying and selling of human organs and tissue, and violators for faces severe penalties including imprisonment and fine. Kaya dati, no, before this law, ang daming nagbebenta. Ang daming talaga nagbebenta. Mayroon siyang documentary. I have watched this documentary when I was still in elementary or high school. Na they are selling their kidneys. This was an area from Tondo. Kaya noon, pag may mga nakahubad na lalaki, no, yung mga topless, lagi mahiling maghubad na mga tatay, no, may hiwa sila sa tagiliran. And that is a mark of they sold their kidneys. Ano, magkano yun? Mura lang ba? Hindi. Mga around 80 to 100,000 to 200,000. So, malaking pera na yun by the time, 1980s. Okay? I forgot the title of that documentary. So, yun. They are selling their organs in order for them um, to have money, no, pag nangailangan gipit na gipit. Okay, so yun, so bawal na siya gawin. Kaya nga you can only donate, no, direct donation, directed donation. For example, ako sa asawa ko, sa anak ko, o kaya sa magulang ko, pwede mag-donate. Pero kunyari sa ibang tao, hindi mo kamag-anak, hindi pwede na direct na, sabihin mo, okay, kay ganito ko po i-donate. Hindi pwedeng ganun. Unless, no, willing ka talaga, and that will undergo investigation. Okay, priority for Filipino patients. The law prioritizes Filipino patients in the allocation of donated organs, ensuring the local needs are addressed first. So, syempre, kailangan, pag may nag-donate, hahanapan muna nila ng kamatch dito sa Pilipinas. Pag wala, papadala sa ibang bansa. Okay? And, for example, pwede ba yung kamag-anak mo nasa ibang bansa, doon ka magdo-donate ng organ? Hindi pwede. Kailangan sila ang umuwi dito sa Pilipinas. Dito gagawin yung donation. Hindi kanila pwedeng kunin for organ donation doon. Okay? Kahit sino pa yon. Unless it's your mother, father, okay, and spouse and children. Yun lang ang pwede. Pero the other relatives, tita, pinsan, hindi pwede. Okay, public awareness campaign. So the DOH is tasked with conducting information campaign to educate the public about the importance of your organ donation. Of course, it is important in order for us to save lives. And penalties for violation, the law imposes penalties including imprisonment and fine to deter illegal activities related to organ donation and transplantation. Okay? Parang merong, kaya yung mga nauso din yung kidnapping, yan, yung mga nagbebenta sa black market. And I don't know if totoo yung sinasabi nila na meron daw naganap na parang illegal yan, organ donation or organ transplantation in one of a big hospital here in the Philippines. Okay? Pero that's an issue na nila. Okay. Impact. What is the impact of this law? So, the law encourages more Filipinos to become organ donor, address the shortage of the organ for transplantation. Kung okay naman yung katawan nyo, i-donate nyo na. Okay, bakit pa sayang naman kung may mabubuhay pang tao sa organ. Okay? Kaya if ever, no, check nyo na yung note na I will donate my organ if ever. Okay, improve transplant services, no, establish the OPO has improved the efficiency and quality of organ retrieval transplantation services. Enhance the public awareness, of course. Mas na-educate ng mga Pilipino as to organ donation. So, mas marami nang nagdo-donate. So, the RA 7170, okay, is important as to the organ donation and transplantation in the Philippines. So, this promotes voluntary donation, regulating the transplantation practice, protecting the rights of the donor and recipient, and the law has saved countless lives and improved quality of life for many Filipinos. However, still, challenges, including the need for greater public awareness and prevention of illegal organ trading. As a citizen, it is your responsibility to support organ donation and contribute to its life-saving cause. Okay? So, under this law, Section 4, person who may execute a donation. So, sino pwede mag-donate? So, any of the following person in the order of property stated hereunder, in the absence of actual notice of contrary intention by the decedent or actual notice of opposition by a member of the immediate family of the descendant, may donate all or any part of the descendant's body for any purpose specified by Section 6 hereof. So, ito yung hierarchy kung sino yung pwedeng umoo for organ donation. So, for example, sino ang punang pwedeng kailangan umoo? Una is your spouse or asawa. So, kung walang asawa, legal age, son or daughter. So, 18 years of age, okay, na with sound mind. Okay. If walang anak, walang asawa, parent. Okay, kung buhay pa. Kung hindi na buhay ang parents, brother and sister of o brother or sister of legal age. Okay, lagi may legal age yan. O kaya naman, kung wala namang legal age, guardian over the person of the decedent at the time of his death. So, kung sino yung guardian mo, kunyari, pamangkin ka, tita mo na kung wala na talaga. Okay, the person authorized by subsection A of this section may make donation after or immediate before death. So, sila yung pwede mag-decide kung magiging organ donor ka or hindi pagka kailangan na nilang mag-decide. Okay? Examination of the human body or parts thereof. So, a legacy of donation of all parts of a human body authorizes any examination necessary to ensure medical acceptability of the legacy or donation for the purpose intended. So, hindi basta-basta gusto mo lang mag-donate ng kidney. May screening pa rin yan. No? And the purpose of this acts, an autopsy shall be conducted on the cadaver of accident, trauma, or other medical legal cases immediately after the procurement of death to determine qualified and healthy human organs for transplantation or in furtherance of medical science. So, i-check nila yan, no? I-autopsy kung may possible implications ba. So, for example, may cancer na natagpuan sa liver tapos ang dinonate ay heart or kidney. So, possible ba yung transmission? Yes. So, hindi pwedeng i-transplant. Okay? So, person who may become legatees or donees. So, ano ba yung legatees and donees? Okay? Legatees or donees of human body or parts thereof any of the purpose stated hereunder. Okay? A. Any hospital or physician or surgeon for medical or dental education, research, advancement of medical or dental science, therapy, or transplantation. So, sino ba yung pwedeng mag-acquire ng organ? Okay? Sila yon. Second, any accredited medical or dental school, college, or university for education, research, advancement of medical, dental science, or therapy. And this was, I heard one case of a medical school na illegal procurement or illegal nilang ginamit yung katawan nung patay for medical education kasi wala na nagki-claim. So, usually, no, pag wala na nagki-claim sa ospital or sa morgue, ng katawan ng tao, ginagamit, binibenta na yan sa medical school. Mahal yan. Nasa around 50,000 yung isang katawan. Okay? Ginagamit na yan sa medical school. And merong isang, no, ang tagal na daw, mga around 2 to 3 months nang hindi nakiklaim yung body. Biglang dumating yung family. Meron ba silang habol doon sa ospital na nagbenta ng katawan? Actually, wala. Kasi nga, ang mangyayari kasi niyan, di ba, parang katulad ng papahanap yung mga kamag-anak. Pag wala na, okay, diretso na yan sa morgue. Pagka walang nagki-claim, benta yan. O kaya, tapon na. Okay? Ganon. Any organ bank, storage facility for medical or dental education and research, therapy, or transplantation, and any specified individual for therapy or transplantation needed by him. So, yeah, for example, no, dodonate ka para sa anak mo ng mata mo, mamamatay ka na, mag-donate mo yung mata mo kasi bulag siya, ganon. Kaya kailangan niya ng kidney na isa. So, ikaw meron kang dalawa, so binigay mo na yung isa. Next, duty of the hospitals. So, a hospital authorized to receive organ donation or to conduct transplantation shall train qualified personnel and their staff to handle tasks of introducing the organ donation program in the humane and delicate manner to the relatives of the donor, decents, enumerated in the section 4 hereof. So the hospital shall accomplish the necessary forms or documents as proof of compliance with the above requirements. So kailangan merong consent form coming from those individual na magsasabi na pwede mong i-donate yung katawan. So, manner of executing legacy. So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina parang will na sinasabi ng legacy na magdo-donate ka ng organ bago ka pagkamatay mo or bago ka mamatay. Okay, this is an advance will sa legacy. So, a legacy of all or part of the human body under Section 3 hereof may be by will. So, the legacy become effective upon death of the testator without waiting to the probate of the will. So, hindi kailangan to ng consent form ng mga tao na mention natin kanina. Okay? Ano lang kailangan? The will, which is signed by the donor, okay? Signed by the donor and have witness. Pwede ba yan sa plain na papel? Yes. But it should be notarized. Okay? It should be notarized. Okay? Okay. Next, a legacy of all or part of the human body under Section 3 may have also made on any document other than will. Yun, any document talaga. So, such as ID card, okay? O kaya naman, papel lang talaga, basta may pirma and may witness. Okay, the legacy becomes effective upon death of the testator and shall be respected by by and binding okay, upon his executor and administrator, heirs, okay, assigns, successors in interest, and all of the members of the family. Okay, so yan, document which may be a card or any paper designated to carry on a person. So yan nga, kahit nga sinulat mo lang sa malinis na papel. Basta may nakalagay na witness. May pumirmang witness. Okay, testator and two witnesses. Okay, must sign the document in his presence. Okay, if the testator cannot sign, the document may be signed for him at his discretion in his presence. And in the presence of two witnesses who must likewise sign the document in the presence of your testator. And the delivery of the document of the legacy during the testator's lifetime is not necessary to make the legacy valid. Okay, so hindi kailangan alam ng lahat. Basta, for example, bigla na lang nakita sa deathbed na meron palang ganong will. O di, kaya pwede yun. The legacy may be made to a specified legatee or without specifying a legatee. So, ano yun? Kung sino yung pwedeng makakuha. If the legacy is made by a specified legatee who is not available at the time and place of the testator's death, the attending physician or surgeon, in the absence of any express indication that may the testator desired otherwise, may accept the legacy as legatee. So, if the legacy does not specify a legatee, the legacy may be accepted by the attending physician or surgeon as legatee upon following the testator's death. And the physician who becomes the legatee under this subsection shall not participate in the procedure for removing and transplanting a part or parts of the body to the decent. So, for example, may namatay. Okay, wala doon yung any family member. Okay, wala yung anak, wala yung asawa, pero may written legacy or written will. Sino magde-decide? Go na yun, bahala na yung doktor. Pero that physician or that surgeon will not do the transplantation. Hindi siya pwede ang gagawa. Okay, ibang doktor. Okay, kasi baka there would be an conflict of interest, if ever. So the testator may designate in his will, card, or other documents the surgeon or physician who will carry out the appropriate procedure. So pwede siya mag-request kung sinong doktor ang gusto nyong gumawa. In the absence of the designation, or if the designee is not available, the legatee or the other persons authorized to accept the legacy may authorize any surgeon or physician for the purpose of transplantation. And manners of executing a donation. So, any donation by person authorized under subsection A of 4 hereof shall be sufficient if it complies with the formalities of a donation of a movable property. So, pag wala, okay, in the absence of any document of organ donation, so sino, kung wala naman naka-note na magdo-donate, okay, at wala yung mga kapamilya na mahanap, sino ang pwede mag-decide? The physician in charge, okay, of the patient. Paano? Sasabihin niya muna, okay, or i-recommend niya sa head of the hospital, okay, that this individual is candidate for organ donation. Okay, and that designated officer, okay, of the hospital who has custody of the body of the deceased classified as accident, trauma, or other medical legal cases may authorize in a public document the removal of any such body purpose for the purpose of transplantation of the organ of the living person, provided, may nakalagay, provided, okay, that the physician, head of the hospital, or officer designated by the hospital for this purpose has exerted the reasonable efforts within 48 hours. So, hindi lang ito. Yung officer in charge na sinasabi natin na dito lagi is the barangay. Okay, so the barangay captain. Okay, so within 48 hours, kung hindi nila malocate nearest relative in the listed section 4A or guardian of the decedent at any time of death, pwede na nilang sabihin, go na with the transplantation. So, in all donations, the death of a person from whose body an organ will be removed after his death for the purpose of transplantation to a living person shall be diagnosed separately and certified by 2 qualified physician, neither whom should be. So again, kailangan natin ng dalawang doktor na magsa-certify na pwede na siyang mag-donate. So, a member of the team of medical legal practitioner who will effect the removal of the organ of the body, nor the physician attending on the recipient of the organ to be removed, nor the head of the hospital or designatee officer authorizing the removal of your organ. So, yan yung mga pwedeng mangyari pagka wala kang kamag-anak. So, sino pwede magdesisyon? Desisyon na mag-donate ka ng organ? The attending physician. Okay? Paano niya sasabihin? Kailangan, nagre-recommend siya na this individual, no, walang kamag-anak, walang ganito, walang ganyan, no, to the head of the hospital, and the head of the hospital will contact the officer designated. Sino yung officer designated? The barangay captain, to exhaust his power within 48 hours to locate any individual concerning this donee. So yun, pag within 48 hours wala, pwede nang mag-go signal and the transplantation will proceed. Next, section 10. Persons authorized to remove transplantable organs. Sino to mga to? Only authorized medical practitioners in the hospital shall remove or transplant any organ which is authorized to be removed or transplanted in the pursuant of section 5. So, sino lang pwede? Trained personnel. Surgeons, to be exact. Next law is your RA 11332 or the Mandatory Reporting of Notifiable Diseases and Health Events of Public Health Concern Act. Okay? So, the RA 11332, again, 33, tandaan, 33, dalawa yung 3, signifies M, mandatory reporting of notifiable diseases and health events of public health concern. So, this is a law that strengthens the country's disease surveillance and response system. So, this was enacted way back in April 26, 2019, and this law mandates the reporting of notifiable diseases and health events to prevent and control the spread of infectious diseases and other health threats. So it has 15 sections. Okay? And it was authored by Christopher Bongo. Okay? And the law, again, was signed or approved April 26, 2019 by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. And Congress is 17th Congress. So what are the objectives of this um, law? So first is this is surveillance and reporting. The law aims to establish a robust case system for mandatory reporting of notifiable diseases and health events to ensure timely detection and response. And it also prevents, and control outbreaks. Okay, the RA 11332 seeks to prevent and control the spread of infectious diseases and other health threats through early detection and intervention. Kaya ito yung ginagamit nating batas nung pandemic in order for us to enforce social distancing, quarantine periods, okay? Okay, yan yung ini-enforce natin. And public health protection. So the law aims to protect the public health by ensuring that health events of public health concern are promptly reported and addressed. So definition of terms, medyo madami-dami to. So first definition of term is notifiable disease. So this is any disease that is required by law to be reported to public health authorities upon detection. So madami yung list ng notifiable diseases na yan. Okay? So these are the list of notifiable diseases that we need to report. So for category 1, so this is reported within 24 hours if detected, and category 2, which is weekly reported or within the week. So for immediate, acute flaccid paralysis or polio. Okay? Adverse event following immunization. So yung mga side effects ng vaccine. Anthrax, of course, this is utilized as biological agent. Ebola virus, which is deadly. The hand, foot, and mouth disease, okay, that is contagious, especially on children. Okay, malaria. Okay, measles, rubella. Okay, meningococcal disease or meningococcemia is considered. Okay, MERS-CoV, okay, or any coronavirus that is public health of concern, such as SARS and even SARS-1, okay, which is happened way back in 2003, and SARS-CoV-2, which is your COVID-19. Okay, tetanus should be neonatal. Neonatal tetanus should be reported. Paralytic shellfish poisoning. Okay, rabies should be reported. Severe acute respiratory infection or SARI, okay, caused by unknown organism. Okay, Zika virus disease. And outbreaks such as dengue outbreak, kahit anong outbreak na disease kasi that should be quarantined. Okay? Pneumonia, acute bronchitis, and even diarrhea. Then, for category 2, weekly, acute bloody diarrhea, acute meningitis encephalitis syndrome, acute encephalitis, hemorrhagic fever, and so on and so forth. So, yung mga yan. So, ito, for example, if they have, they are currently outbreak or in outbreak, pwede silang immediately notifiable. Okay? So, those are the notifiable diseases. So, next, health events of public health concern. So, again, any occurrence of disease of health condition that may pose significant risk to the public. So, it could be an outbreak. Okay? So, sinabi ko nga kanina, outbreak is, it should be reported immediately. So, epidemic, the occurrence of cases of a disease in a community or region that is in excess of what normally expected. So, for example, wala naman dapat cases of dengue. Pero on your area, common na nagkakaroon ng 5 cases per year. Pero by that time, in 1 month, nagkaroon na kayo ng 5 cases. That could be considered as epidemic. So, in epidemic niyan, it is computed as to what is your previous report from the previous year. Okay? So, outbreak, a sudden increase in number of cases of a disease above what is normally expected in the specific area. So, yan, before you declare an epidemic, first is outbreak muna. Okay? Usually, outbreak muna before epidemic. And surveillance, the ongoing systematic collection, analysis, and interpretation of health data, essential to the planning, implementation, and evaluation of public health practice. So, yun yung ginagawa natin na magpo-provide ng data sa ibang, sa LGU. Next, what are the key provisions of your RA 11332? Okay. Of course, the mandatory reporting. So the law mandates the reporting of notifiable diseases and health events of public health concern by healthcare providers, laboratory, and other relevant entities such as health center, clinics, and any health facility. So not only health facility is mandated by this law, you also require airports, public markets, anywhere actually, anywhere. Kasi, for example, passerby, okay, ano to, passerby lang yung tao and nalaman niyang meron kang meningococcemia, pwede siya mag-report. Okay? Kaya meron kang COVID-19, pwede siya mag-report. Okay? So, establishment of disease surveillance system. So, the law provides the establishment of national disease surveillance system to monitor and respond to the health threats of your diseases. So we do have now in the Philippines the Philippine Integrated Disease and Response uh, Surveillance and Response. So the PIDSAR, okay? Yun yung ginagamit natin. Philippine Integrated Disease Surveillance and Response. The PIDSAR yung ginagamit natin as of now as the surveillance system. Then the role of the Department of Health, So the DOH is tasked with overseeing the implementation of the law, including development of guidelines and protocols for diseases reporting and response. So ito yung guidelines and protocols, ito yung mga IRR and mga AO. So kaya by that time, hindi nagbabago yung batas natin for COVID-19. Anong nagbabago? The IRR. Okay, for example, the testing, the quarantine requirement, yan, nagbabago yan every now and then. Okay, pero the law, hindi. Okay, penalties. So the law imposes penalty for non-compliance, including fines and imprisonment to ensure adherence to the reporting requirements. Kaya nga, if you are a laboratory at nag-fail ka to report one incident of for example, polio, myelitis. Okay? Naka-isolate kayo ng polio or nag-positive siya for polio test and hindi nyo na-report. Okay, that is a deficiency and you could be imprisoned for that. Or you could have your license stripped away from you or revoked. Okay? Public awareness campaign. So the DOH is required to conduct another pala sa penalties of non-compliance. Ito yung mga non-compliant na, for example, the pasyente, meron silang diseases, hindi sila nagpapa-quarantine, ayaw nilang pa-quarantine, gusto lang nila lumabas. So, like in the COVID-19, pwede silang hulihin at ikulong. Okay, kaya yun yung sinasabi namin, pag-aayaw ng tao sumunod sa amin na magka-quarantine sila. Okay, way back then, na they could be jailed for that after nilang gumaling. Okay? So public awareness campaign. So the DOH increases the public awareness as to the diseases. Kaya nga tayo nagkakaroon ng mga campaign such as yung 4 o'clock habit for dengue, yung magtatanggal ng mga tubig-tubig sa mga reservoir, yung mga ganon. Data privacy and confidentiality. The law ensures that the privacy and confidentiality of individuals affected by notifiable disease and health events are protected. Kaya, okay, on the Data Privacy Act, which is pag-uusapan din natin, what do you call this? Pinoprotect nila all the patient and even the data collectors. Okay, kasi once na may breach on that, okay, parehong pwedeng ma-penalize. Okay, what is the impact of RA 11332? So since its implementation, it strengthens the disease surveillance and the law has enhanced the country's ability to detect and respond to the health threats through a robust disease surveillance. So way back by that time, this was approved before the COVID-19, but hindi pa rin niya na-contain yung COVID-19 with even the strict implementation. Actually, I had a study, I had a research with regards to this law. And anong lumabas? This is not enough. Okay? The implementation of this law is not enough. Okay? So, improved public health response, so the mandatory reporting of notifiable disease and health events has enabled timely and effective public health interventions, Pero Sabi nga natin, nung pandemic, hindi natin siya nakita. Increase public awareness. So public awareness campaigns have educated Filipinos about the importance of disease reporting and prevention. So the RA 11332 is a vital piece of legislation that underscore the importance of disease surveillance and response in the Philippines by mandating the reporting of notifiable diseases and health events. The law aimed to prevent and control the spread of infection, diseases, and other health threats. Okay, ultimately protecting the public health. Okay, however, challenges remain in its implementation. Okay, including the need for greater public awareness and adherence to reporting requirements. So, as a citizen, of course, it is your responsibility to support to strengthen the disease surveillance and contribute to the protection of the public health. And as a medical technologist, you need to report if ever that you have detected any reportable diseases. So that's all.